finally, tonight, let's welcome in our next guest, Ron Coleman, who is the host of Coleman Nation podcast and also an attorney at the Dillon Law Group. And so, Ron, we had talked just briefly before in the break that the segment that we thought we were going to do was on the whole P. Diddy lawsuit and all of that, but neither of us really know anything about it because nobody cares. And I think that that's actually hilarious for all of the audience. We're going to pivot topics here because I think, Ron, this actually shows a much bigger issue that pop culture maybe just doesn't even matter to conservatives.
It doesn't. In my house, we don't have a TV. We don't really play popular music. I'm on the internet more than other members of my family, and I, usually need to have the cultural vocabulary to discuss issues like this on shows like yours. But we are not particularly inclined to follow the careers of these extraordinary symbols of achievement. Some of the people who have come up through the music world, including rap and hip hop, have built extraordinary careers for themselves. But regardless of the particular music style or whether it's other forms of art, the popular culture is a wasteland. It's great when you find programs or musically things are happening that are gratifying and that you can learn. I don't mean learn from it. Life doesn't have to be a social studies project. So the arts are meant to be enjoyed and appreciated and to broaden one's soul. This kind of slides into our typical political focus. It is amazing how many political statements by people who are known for nothing other than entertaining people are considered to be newsworthy. I don't know if P. Diddy was one of those people, but
a lot of the headlines that I've seen, focused on the fact that Prince Harry was named in this lawsuit, and it's a civil suit, right? And people are suggesting this is going to bring Diddy down and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, okay, does this really impact political life? Does this impact our lives as Americans? Not really. But it's fascinating to see that some people are actually paying more attention to this story than they are to the spending bill that was up in Congress or, what's actually going on in civil society. And I think that ultimately is the problem. So I was actually mildly amused, and it just heightened my respect for you, Ron, that you were like, I don't really know anything about this, because I was like, I don't either. And I don't think it really matters. So instead, let me ask you, go ahead.
Yeah. I just dropped an episode with a woman named Kristen Jackson, who's the founder and president of a search engine called FreeSpoke.com. I'm not a paid commercial representative for them, but when I went to test out, and they're trying to do an unbiased search engine. Now, every search engine drives you, when you go to their homepage, they drive you to their own coverage of news. And when I went to FreeSpoke, what I saw was they had very little celebrity news. And
it's a good thing.
They actually had a news section, and they have a left-leaning selection and what they regard as a centrist and right-leaning section, but very little being paid to celebrity news. That's a development we should hope to see a lot more of, because it is just the wrong focus for everyone.
What passes for news these days, and what people choose to cover on news programs like this one, really does matter, and especially in terms of curating your content. I mean, it's been widely known that Google algorithms, will push certain stories to the top and suppress other stories. For the kids who've grown up in just the Google era, it's not this unbiased filter that actually give you what are the quote unquote best results. It's the ones that those search engines want you to see first. What we talk about as far as news, maybe isn't necessarily newsworthy. Before the end of the segment, I did want to get your take, Ron, on the story that came out over Easter that Joe Biden refused to allow, and the White House refused to allow children participating in the Easter art, like the drawings of the Easter eggs. He refused to allow religious symbolism, which in my view, is a violation of the First Amendment for a government to say, if you're a Christian or a Jewish kid that comes there, that you can't put a cross or, Star of David or, anything like that on your Easter egg. It has to be totally secular.
No Jewish kid has any business at the Easter egg competition. That's not one of our things. But I will tell you that AP which is one of the White House's press offices, the Associated Press, ran a debunker column. They claim, and I really have to say claim with, I should do what they do with things that Republicans say, like they claim without evidence, they do have evidence that the order from the White House to avoid religious symbolism or overt religious symbolism in the Easter egg or the Easter art or the Easter egg art contest is no different from what it has been in the past. It's never been a particularly big issue for me. Easter is not. That's actually kind of a holiday where we kind of try to keep a low profile. I didn't realize the extent to which Easter, even today, is almost, it's not directly anymore, but it is still, it indirectly more, it really coordinates with the Jewish holiday of Passover, which makes sense, of course, because of the historical events. We're always obviously cognizant of Easter because it comes out around the same time as Passover. But what would you expect? This White House, I don't know if
Yeah.
they did something radically different from what the White House has done in the past.
But I can't imagine that this was actually what was going on during the Trump White House. More power to the Christian kids that want to go and participate and actually expose their faith and participate as Christians. That's all the time we have for Jenna Ellis tonight. I'll see you tomorrow.